Mini Shenanigans, Episode 11. Hello there and welcome to our penultimate mini shenanigan. This week's play is called The Honest Interview, and as it sounds, it really answers the question, what could job interviews sound like if they were extremely honest? Theatrical Shenanigans presents The Honest Interview by Rachel Feeney Williams.
Hello there, I'm Petra Jansen, Head of Human Resources here at Random Tech Company. You may be already familiar with our work in the tech industry, if you have nothing better to do with your life than research the tech trade, in which case I congratulate you for still being a virgin in your late 30s to early 40s. Something you may be less familiar with, however, is that we are revolutionising the way companies employ people. Honesty. It's something we all preach when talking to children or at the deluded way we think relationships work, but it's not something we all necessarily practice. And we, here at Random Tech Company, believe that it is essential when entering an employee-employer relationship. We have therefore been lacing our work water supply with our top-of-the-line honesty drug to ensure our employees, potential candidates, remain honest. Of course, this policy does not apply to the managing director, CEO, CFO, or anyone else with a wanky title like that, which probably carries a six-figure salary and are the most likely to lie and cheat. However, the purpose of this video is to show you, as a potential purchaser of this revolutionary new drug, just how beneficial it can be when you sit down across from an interview candidate and you are completely honest with them. After all, there is nothing more frustrating to a company than high turnover, often caused by candidates not having all the details about a job from the beginning. What you're about to see is a recording of an interview carried out for the position of Senior Data Analyst. Now please, sit back and enjoy this lovely depiction of an entirely honest workplace interview. Come in.
Miss Jansen?
I am, as a result of a recent divorce. I appreciate that within a few seconds of meeting me, you have drawn attention to the fact that I'm a woman over 35 and not married, thus fitting nicely into the stereotype of women in senior positions in the workplace.
Oh, sorry, it's just your assistant said.
Ah, I see. Well, I've always known her to be an incompetent assistant, and she has recently indulged in spitting in my morning coffee, so she will not be with us for very long.
Oh.
That was a display of power over one of my underlings. It's a scare tactic that management often use here. Do you scare easily?
Not really.
Good. Sometimes, by taking on the role of tyrannical bitch very early on in the interview, I ensure candidates know that this job does not provide a warm and nurturing working environment of any kind.
I see.
So, shall we get started?
All right.
Please, take a seat. So, the job you have applied for is Senior Data Analyst role.
Yes, that's right.
I'm aware how obviously frustrating it is that I have stated the obvious. After all, you must know the role, otherwise you wouldn't be here, would you?
No, I wouldn't.
Wonderful. I admire your ability to call me out on it, rather than simply sitting there and smiling with a nod.
So the company isn't looking for yes men, so to speak.
Oh, don't misunderstand. I can tell you in a million different ways that the sharing of opinions and ideas is encouraged. But after the first few weeks, your manager will have ground the desire to say anything other than yes, sir, out of you with remarkable efficiency.
I see.
But addressing your point about my opening statement, finding a woman interested in this particular role is exceptionally rare, so we like to emphasise that this is a senior role, as well as mentioning the name of the role several times during the interview, normally to give the impression of the role's importance and to make people, particularly women, feel that they are not good enough for the role.
Why particularly women?
Well, the men who apply to work for this company normally come recommended by the men who work here. They are loudmouths who would never own up to a mistake if their lives depended on it, and therefore are not intimidated by anything.
Oh.
So, before I go any further, has your confidence that you can do this role and your self-esteem in general been shattered?
No, quite the reverse, in fact.
Oh, good. Although I should make you aware, if you do attempt to do anything about the borderline misogynistic environment here, then you will only be met by profuse mocking and a reputation as either a ball-buster or crybaby, depending on which emotion they believe you to be displaying to excess.
So this place is very much a boys' club?
Oh, yes. But by appearing to be so obviously a boys' club, if you are a woman working here, you are privileged to the occasional crumb they throw female employees, so they aren't dragged through the press and social media as the misogynistic tyrants that they are.
Sorry, crumbs?
Yes, that's why they are so keen to have this role filled by a woman. I could offer you the job now without any question, just so long as you fill their quota.
Well, that's nice, but I like to know a bit about the job first.
Of course. Well, you will be working under our data analyst manager, Nigel, with a small team in a very enclosed office where you will most likely feel that you have no escape from their boys' banter.
Right.
Nigel is not really a banter man.
Well, that's a relief.
But he has been working for the company since he left school and has believed for many years that there is only one way of doing things. He will tell you that as well, many times.
So what will my responsibilities be?
Ah, yes. Well, first and foremost, your aim is to survive.
I'm sorry?
To survive the 6 months until the end of your probation will mean that you're allowed to just get on with your own work throughout the day.
But what do I do before then?
Well, Nigel will set you the most basic of tasks, because he doesn't believe a woman is capable of anything more complex than that, and then he'll yell and berate you for getting it wrong.
That doesn't seem very encouraging.
Oh, he's not. That's why the rest of his team are men, but his approach will seem like a picnic compared to the rest of them.
How do you mean?
Well, the data team like to treat a new employee's first 6 months like the hazing in a fraternity.
You're joking.
No, I'm very serious. Those men have Nigel's ear, so in those 6 months they will have you get their coffee, move their cars, pick up their dry cleaning, and get you to do any other task that they feel like doing.
But that's...
Inhumane and discriminatory? Yes, I know.
So why is it allowed to go on?
Because this company, and all of its positions of significant power, are run by men, and said men have been doing precisely what they want for many years.
And no one says anything.
Whenever a woman attempts to bring them to task, one of two things happen. Either said woman is given a promotion position with what we call a figurehead role and a massive salary on the proviso that they sign a non-disclosure.
Is that what happened to you?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Well, what's the second thing that happens?
The company circles the wagons against the employee and pays everyone who turns on them a significant bonus to do so.
But that's illegal.
Unfortunately, there's never anyone who can prove it.
But wait, why are you telling me all this now?
In an attempt to control its employees, the company has laced the water supply with a drug that forces them to speak honestly at all times.
What?
I believe this interview was to be some sort of test drive that will no doubt be deemed a failure.
I'm glad to hear it. What's that?
Most likely men from the security team to erase my memory, and yours, before they terminate the Honesty Project.
What? But they can't do that.
Oh dear, this is business. Of course they can.
That was The Honest Interview by Rachel Feeney Williams, with Fiona Leishmann as Petra and Mary Ciancaglini as Maria. Theatrical Shenanigans is part of an RFW script production, with music written and produced by Chris Cody.